Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
Hi, this is Francis from Fixable, a podcast from TED. These days, every finance leader is under pressure to save money. But you can't beat the competition just by cutting costs. To win, you need to spend smarter and move faster. You need Brex. Brex is the modern finance platform that breaks the trade-off between control and speed with intelligent corporate cards, high-yield banking, and AI-powered expense management. Join the 30,000 companies that spend smarter and move faster with Brex. Learn more at brex.com/grow.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
Just a little heads up, this is part 2 of a 2-part story. So if you haven't heard the first part, you may want to skip back and listen to that. I just want to give a quick trigger warning for this episode, as there is a bit of a graphic description. It's nothing over the top. I've actually cut it back because I didn't think it was appropriate and necessary. But the part I have left in, I think it needs to be told in the story. 2 officers arrived, and Jodie desperately tried to explain the bizarre events, the moving objects, the talking doll, the noose. But the policemen were far from sympathetic. According to Jodie, they exchanged skeptical looks and were mockingly asked if her Bert doll was having issues too. They clearly thought it was a prank or that Jodie was unhinged. Humiliated and no closer to help, Jodie saw the officers out. Realising that was likely her one chance to be taken seriously, the message was clear. Official help was not coming. Determined to get through the night, Jodie, Misty and Hannah all camped out together in the living room. They set an alarm for 5:30 a.m, thinking if they could just make it to morning light, everything would be okay. But the entity in the apartment had other plans. In the darkest pre-dawn hours, Jodie had barely drifted off to sleep when she was jolted awake yet again. This time not by a dream, but by the entire apartment shaking violently. It felt like an earthquake rattling the walls, except nothing else in the neighbourhood seemed to be moving. The overhead lights began flashing on and off, and appliances beeped as power surged erratically. Across the room, the demonic refrain of Ernie's "I feel great" started up once more from Hannah's room. Terrified, Misty scooped up Hannah and all 3 fled out the front door into the corridor, fearing the whole building might collapse. As they stumbled into the hallway, the tumult abruptly stopped. The apartment behind them fell silent and dark. Jodie's heart was pounding as she glanced at her watch. It read 6 a.m. the time they thought they had awoken, but something compelled her to double check. There on the hallway wall hung a clock, and it showed a different time, 3:37 a.m. They were caught in that same witching minute yet again. It was as though the entity had trapped them in a loop of terror, resetting the clocks to the exact minute its victim had died. In that moment, Jodie snapped. Enough was enough. Summoning every ounce of courage and fury, she stormed back to the doorway of the apartment, which was now eerily still, and screamed into the darkness, demanding that the evil presence leave. "Get out," she shouted, voice cracking with emotion. "You don't belong here anymore. This is our home now. You're not welcome here." Whether by Jodie's command or simply exhaustion of its energy, the entity finally fell quiet that night. Jodie wasted no time contacting the property managers first thing in the morning. Hearing her hysterical insistence that the unit was haunted and dangerous, the apartment owners made a quick and telling offer. They would relocate Jodie to a different building across town for free, on the condition that she never speak publicly about the horrors of apartment 14. Jodie accepted the offer without hesitation. Within days, she and Hannah packed up their belongings and left Walnut Gardens, hopefully forever. As they drove away, Jodie could feel the weight lifting. She prayed that whatever dark force dwelt in that apartment would not follow them. For a time, life improved markedly once Jodie and her daughter moved out of Walnut Gardens. Jodie found a steady job and even kindled a new romance, meeting a kind man named Joel Wiley. In their new home downtown, Hannah finally slept soundly, and Jodie dared to hope the nightmare was over. She tried her best to put the entire ordeal behind her and focus on raising her daughter. But the ghost was not done with them yet. A couple of years later, young Hannah, now a kindergartner, began having strange dreams of her own. She told her mother that her old friend Mylis from the apartment would visit her in her dreams, talking to her kindly. Unlike Jodie's horrific nightmares, Hannah's dreams of Mylis were calm conversations, almost as if the spirit could approach the child without fear. Hannah remained oddly comfortable with the ghostly girl, even as she grew older. She also continued to draw pictures of Mylis, and one day she showed Jodie a particularly startling new drawing. In childlike crayon strokes, Hannah had drawn Mylis hanging by a rope, with a man and woman standing on either side of her, hurting her. All the memories Jodie had tried to bury came flooding back. The dreams, the name, the missing tenant. She realised with a mix of dread and determination that she had to know the truth behind what happened in that apartment. Joel, who is now Jodie's supportive partner, encouraged her to investigate the mystery instead of fearing it. So in 2008, 8 years after the haunting, Jodie steeled herself and returned to Chico on a quest for answers. She spent hours scrolling through microfilmed archives of old newspapers at the library, searching for any story of a girl missing from Chico in the 1970s. Finally, she struck gold. A 1976 newspaper article about a missing 18-year-old woman named Mary Elizabeth Spannhake, nicknamed Mylis, who had disappeared on January the 31st, 1976. Jodie's hand shook as she realised January the 31st was the same date she herself had moved into the apartment. A coincidence that felt destined. According to the article, the young woman lived on Parmack Road at the time of her disappearance. In fact, the address matched Walnut Gardens, apartment 14. Staring up at Jodie from the faded newsprint was a photo of the missing girl, and Jodie's heart nearly stopped. The face was instantly recognisable. It was the same auburn-haired girl from her dreams and Hannah's drawings. In that moment, Jodie finally knew her ghost name, Marie Marlies Spannhake. Jodie rushed home to show Hannah the old photograph. Although Hannah was only a toddler during the haunting, she too felt a jolt of recognition. "That's her, Mummy," Hannah said softly. Marlies was the girl who had watched over her in the apartment. To dig deeper, Jodie reached out to Roger Aylworth, a veteran local crime journalist who remembered the Spannhake case. Meeting with Roger, Jodie recounted every detail of her dreams and experiences. In turn, Roger filled her in on a disturbing chapter of Northern California history that tied everything together. He explained that Marlies' disappearance was likely connected to a notorious couple from the nearby town of Red Bluff. In 1984, a woman named Janice Hooker had come forward to authorities with a shocking confession. Her husband, Cameron Hooker, had abducted a young hitchhiker named Colleen Stan in 1977 and kept her as a sex slave for 7 years. The case made headlines. Colleen Stan became known as the girl in the box because of the horrific way she was confined in a coffin-like box under the couple's bed. Cameron Hooker was eventually convicted in 1985 for Colleen's kidnapping and torture and given a 104-year prison sentence. But during the investigation, Janice, who had turned state's witness against her abusive husband, revealed an even darker secret. Before they kidnapped Colleen Stan, the Hookers had allegedly abducted another young woman, one from Chico, a year earlier in 1976. Janice told police that the first victim's name was Marie Spannhake and that Cameron had murdered her after hours of torture. Because Marlies' body had never been found, prosecutors never charged Cameron Hooker with that crime. They focused on the living victim, Colleen, whose testimony could be backed by evidence. Marie Spannhake's case remained officially unsolved and open, even though authorities strongly believed Janice's account. As Roger relayed this information, he pulled out a folder of old photos. One was a mugshot of Cameron and a photo of Janice from the 1970s. Jodie's breath caught. These were the faces from her nightmares. The tall, lanky man with glasses and the young woman beside him were unmistakably the predatory couple who stalked and abducted the girl in her dreams. Jodie felt a mix of vindication and terror. Her subconscious, or perhaps Marlies' spirit, had shown her real people she had never met or even heard of. Now she had names for them: Cameron Hooker, the sadistic husband, and Janice Hooker, his wife-turned-accomplice. Roger Aylworth confirmed key details that matched Jodie's dream fragments. Janice testified that on January the 31st, 1976, she and Cameron had spotted 18-year-old Marlies Spannhake walking along Mangrove Avenue in Chico after leaving a flea market following an argument with her fiancé. Because Janice was present in the car, Marlies felt safe accepting a ride from the couple. When they reached Marlies' destination, her apartment near Rio Lindo and Parmac, Walnut Gardens, Marlies started to get out. That's when Cameron grabbed her at knife point and forced a homemade head box over her head to muffle any screams. He bound her and drove her 40 miles north to their home in Red Bluff. Janice admitted she helped Cameron subdue Marlies, though she claimed to have been a reluctant participant. At the hooker's house, Cameron dragged the bound girl into the basement and hung her by ropes from the rafters, exactly as Jody had dreamed. He brutally tortured and sexually assaulted Marlies in front of his wife. Janice recounted that Cameron was obsessed with the idea of making a sex slave who would be utterly silent and compliant. In chilling detail, she described how Cameron attempted to cut Marlies' vocal cords to prevent her from screaming. Cameron's crude attempt failed. The cut was deep, and Marlies bled heavily, but it didn't immediately kill her. Desperate and panicking at the mess, Cameron next shot Marlies twice with a pellet gun and then strangled her with a rope, according to Janice's testimony. Janice told police that she found Marlies' lifeless body hanging in the basement and that her depraved husband had even taken trophies, a lock of Marlies' hair and other personal items, before disposing of the body. Perhaps the most haunting confirmation came when Jody later obtained a transcript of Janice Hooker's interrogation. On the tape, Janice revealed that Cameron slit her throat to try to take out her vocal cords. It was proof that her nightmares had conveyed real events from Marlies' final moments. As Roger and Jody reviewed everything, one thing became clear. Marlies Spannhake's ghost had been desperately seeking justice. She had chosen Jody, a young mother who cared for a child in her old home, to reveal the truth of what befell her, perhaps knowing that Jody would not rest until the story was brought to light. Emboldened by the corroboration from Roger and the historical records, Jody felt it was time to approach law enforcement again, this time armed with concrete names, dates and facts. In 2008, she contacted a detective in Red Bluff and relayed her bizarre yet detailed accounts. To Jody's surprise, the detective didn't dismiss her. In fact, he revealed that by sheer coincidence, the Chico police and Tehama County investigators were already revisiting the Spannhake cold case right at that time. Jody's call was eerily well-timed. Detectives arranged to formally interview her, and for hours, Jody unloaded every detail. Her dreams of the meadow with the road sign A17, the coordinates 35.76 she once whispered in a dream, the couple's faces, the torture implements, the shallow grave in the forest. The police were astonished at the specificity of Jody's information. Much of it matched what little they knew from Janice's 1984 statements, and where they suspected Marlies' body might be. Notably, Janice had told authorities that she and Cameron buried Marlies off a remote dirt road, possibly near a landmark or forest road, with a number which aligns with the A17 sign Jody saw in her dream. Jody even estimated the distance of the burial site from the hooker's house, based on her dream impressions, details that coincided with investigators' theories. While the detectives couldn't officially share case details with her, since it was an ongoing investigation, their stunned faces told Jody that she was divulging things she had no earthly way of knowing. In the months that followed, police teams did go out and search possible burial sites in rural areas of Lassen National Forest, where Janice believed that they had laid Marlies to rest. They focused on spots near old country road markers like A17. Cadaver dogs and ground-penetrating radar were employed, but no remains had yet been recovered. the terrain is vast and remote, and over 45 years have passed since the crime. So finding Marlies is a challenge. Nonetheless, investigators have publicly acknowledged Jodi's unusual but valuable contribution. Chico police did reopen Marie Spannhake's cold case in 2009, partly due to the new leads Jodi provided. As one retired detective noted, they were shocked by the accuracy of the information Jodi was able to give, considering it aligned with Janice Hooker's confidential testimony. It seems the ghost of apartment 14 had succeeded in breathing new life into a case long gone cold. In the years since confronting the paranormal, Jodi Foster has tried to live a normal life in Chico. She wrote a memoir titled Forgotten Burial, A Restless Spirit's Plea for Justice, published in 2011, to tell both Marlies' story and her own. Her haunting experience was dramatised on Sci-Fi's Paranormal Witness in 2012, episode The Apartment, and again in 2022 on Netflix's Unsolved Mysteries, episode The Ghost in Apartment 14. Spreading the tale of the ghost who demanded to be heard. Jodi has since become something of an advocate for victims, hoping to help others who encounter unexplainable phenomena tied to crimes. She still resides in Chico, working as a digital creator and raising her family, which now includes a son and a granddaughter. Hannah, who remembers only bits of her early childhood encounter, grew up to be a mother herself and lives in California. Both have moved on, but the shadow of apartment 14 will forever be a part of their lives. As for the perpetrators, Cameron Hooker, now in his 70s, remains incarcerated for the Colleen Stan crimes. He became eligible for parole under California's Elder Parole Program, but so far his bids for release have been denied amid public outcry. In 2022, authorities were considering new charges against him, relating to Marlies' case, if any new evidence is found. But without a body, those charges remain on hold. Janice Hooker was never prosecuted for her role in either crime, due to the immunity deal she struck in exchange for testifying against her husband. Now living under a changed identity, Janice has tried to quietly rebuild her life. Chillingly, Jodi believes she once spotted Janice in Chico. The woman would be now in her 60s, but kept her distance. And what of Marie Marlies Spannhake? To this day, her body has never been found, and so her spirit has never truly been laid to rest. She remains listed among California's long-term missing persons, but those who know the case believe she lies in an unmarked grave somewhere in the wilderness north of Red Bluff, still waiting to be discovered.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and LookPad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast, free delivery. It's on Prime.
Over 45 years have passed since Marlies vanished, yet thanks to Jodi and Hannah's terrifying encounter, her story is not forgotten. In the end, a mother's love and a little girl's innocence proved to be the conduit for a plea from beyond the grave. Walnut Gardens Apartment 14, once a place of fear, has become a cornerstone in Chico lore. A reminder that sometimes the dead do speak, especially when justice has not been served. And that's the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I was going to put this on the Whispering Woods, and then it's like, no, best do it for Obscurata. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/The Whispering Woods, where for £2.50 a month you can listen completely ad-free. We're also now on Apple Premium, where for $4.99 you can listen to this podcast, our other podcast, The Whispering Woods, ad-free. If you're enjoying this podcast, please rate and review if you can. It would be really appreciated. I want to say a quick thank you to Roger for fact-checking and editing. And as always, stay curious and sleep with the lights on, just in case.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lickpad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.